Maybe. I'm waiting. Just watching the little thing spin. Just watching it spin. just watching the wheels spin around. Wait, wasn't that? Okay, yeah. I'm thinking a musical reference, but. All right, I'm going to YouTube really quick. All right, checking to see. All right, nothing there. Doing a search for Theology Central. I don't know why it just doesn't pop up first, but okay. And I do not see our... Oh, wait a minute. Did we get disconnected from... It says we're started. Okay, hang on. Give me a second here. What is going on? There we go. It was taking a minute. It wasn't showing up on YouTube. Oh, wait a minute. Did we? Okay. Get that fixed. All right. Just everything takes a few minutes to get everything going and get it all set up. Now let me go over here. Hang on. Go to Sermon Audio, the website. Click on webcast. There we are. Let me go over here. Okay, we sound okay there. Now let me go back to our... All right. If you're tuning in, thank you so very much. Greatly appreciate it. It's now 2 p.m. I should probably just start so I can start it right at the top of the hour, but that's okay. You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and try my best to get this done. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday, October the 10th, 2025. It is currently 2 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio located right here in Abilene, Texas. Now, this is another episode in our ongoing series, Sermon Audio Daily. This series is here to help you, I guess, and me, us. It's here to help everyone discover what's new, what's hidden, and what's worth listening to on the Sermon Audio platform. That includes the Sermon Audio website, sermonaudio.com, and the Sermon Audio app, which you can download for free. Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Just download the app. And so this is a very good time, if you have the app, to open the app. In fact, we probably should start these episodes with, all right, class, everyone pull out their phones, pull out your tablets, and open up the Sermon Audio app. Are you ready? Because you will need it for this session. But I don't really do this like a classroom setting. I do this like the Sermon Audio Daily, like it's a newspaper. So I need to kind of figure out which direction I want to go. But who cares how I present it? The bottom line is, welcome. This is the Sermon Audio Daily, and this is the series that tries to tell you what's going on the Sermon Audio platform and point you to things to listen to. I'm your curator. I'm your guide. I'm the one to help you discover what to listen to. So you don't even have to go and look. You can just tune into the Sermon Audio Daily and I'll tell you what to go listen to. All right. I mean, you can obviously listen to whatever you want, but I think my suggestions are, I think they're pretty good. So are you ready for some discovery? Are you ready to see what we can find out? Today, the Sermon Audio Daily takes us into the classroom, an actual classroom setting. See, that's why I was having that thought of saying, all right, class, because we're going to a classroom. And we're going to go into a classroom to hear a class on what subject? Come on, what do you think? What do you think? On biblical hermeneutics. On biblical hermeneutics. And that's just not for pastors. It's just not for Bible teachers. Biblical hermeneutics is for every single Christian, because if you open a Bible and you read it, Well, you try to come to some kind of interpretation, whether you want to admit it or not, you interpret it to some level. And to do so, well, that's biblical hermeneutics. And so either your hermeneutical skills, understanding, and learning is, well, very strong and is in depth enough so that you can interpret the Bible accurately, or maybe you're lacking in hermeneutical understanding and maybe that would impact your ability to interpret scripture. But either way, I'm going to lead us to a classroom so that we can listen to a course on biblical hermeneutics, and we're going to go back to the 1970s. What did biblical hermeneutics sound like in the 1970s? Well, you're about to find out if you'll follow today's suggestion. This is a classic 12-part teaching series that is available on sermonaudio.com and on the Sermon Audio app. Now, how do we find this? Well, let me just follow the link. The best way, I don't know. You could do this a couple of ways. If you look for students of the Bible, if you look for that broadcaster, students of the Bible, I'm right here in real time looking at the Sermon Audio app. So I'm doing this just to ensure I can help you find it. If you type in students of the Bible, you'll find a series by Kevin Keeter from Greenville, South Carolina. All right. Once you get there, if you click on series, all right, you're going to see, it's not very far down. You have Southwide Baptist Fellowship, Workers' Conference 1977, Making Much of Jesus something, and then Biblical Hermeneutics. If you tap on the Biblical Hermeneutics, you will see this series was put together on Sermon Audio, and things were uploaded between August the 28th, 2025, and September the 6th, 2025. Right? That's when they were uploading the content. However, this content comes to us from 1977, I believe, actually 1976. Yeah, all from 1976. I was going to say 1977. Actually, from 1976. All 12 messages were originally taught in 1976. And there are 12 messages, all right? Here, and the titles, there's nothing actually, the titles are very straightforward. The first one, Biblical Hermeneutics, Lesson 1. The second one, Biblical Hermeneutics, Lesson 2. The third one, Biblical Hermeneutics, Lesson 3. You get the idea, and all the way down until you get to one called Biblical Hermeneutics Midterm Exam. So does he give everyone the exam? Like, does he speak out all the questions? Does he do it that way? I don't know. Do they review the exam? Do they go over the questions and what the right answers were? I don't know. I haven't listened to that one so far, but if you want to hear what biblical hermeneutics sounded in 1976, this is the series for you. So what do you look for? You look for students of the Bible, go to series, and then go to biblical hermeneutics, and there you have it, 12-part series. Now, if you look on Sermon Audio, you're going to notice that this series by the person who taught the lesson shows up, and I think a number of other places on Sermon Audio. At least some of the messages do, but this has them all grouped together. All right. Now, these lessons were taught at the Tabernacle Baptist College in Greenville, South Carolina, and they have 1976 to 1977, but it looks like the dates of every one of these is from 1976. I don't know if they're going to be adding more episodes. And if they are, well, no, the last one was September the 6th, and it's now October. So maybe, I don't know where they got the 1977 date, maybe just from a historical perspective. Maybe these lessons, I don't know. Or maybe we only have the ones from 1976. Now, these were taught by the late Dr. Harold B. Sightler, Sightler, Harold B. Sightler. Now, I heard Harold B. Sightler's name a lot when I was in the independent fundamental Baptist world, some of the Bible institutes I attended, Bible colleges and seminaries, because a lot of the education I pursued was in those types of institutions. So I heard Harold B. Sightler mentioned frequently. So this is him teaching biblical hermeneutics. Now, what do you need to know? This is biblical hermeneutics that would be in line with an independent fundamental Baptist perspective of biblical interpretation. So that means you could probably put this down. I will be pretty confident about this. That means this is going to be hermeneutics from a dispensational perspective, historical, grammatical, literal hermeneutic. It's going to be dispensational in nature, historical, grammatical, and literal, and probably be very, 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 very KJV only. So it's going to be KJV only, dispensational, historical, grammatical, literal kind of approach, I think is probably what you're going to get. Now, why do I have to point that out? Because whenever you see a book on hermeneutics or you see a course on sermon audio on hermeneutics, you need to realize they're teaching hermeneutics from a specific hermeneutical perspective. And not everyone agrees on hermeneutics. That's why no one agrees on how to interpret the Bible, because if we can't even agree on the principles of interpretation, then we're never going to agree on the final interpretation. And that is maddening, but that is just a fact that you need to take note of and you need to know. All right, now, this is important. In fact, let me just play. I'm going to play just the beginning of the very first lecture. One, so just you can get a feeling of stepping back into 1976, all right? 1976, just imagine 1976. You're forget what's going on in popular culture, forget movies. 1976, you're enrolled at Tabernacle Baptist College. You walk in, this is the first day of hermeneutics class, and it sounded like this.
This is the class on hermeneutics, and if you have your textbook handy, I want you to turn now to the chapter number 1, page number 7, and we're going to introduce the course and say some things about this particular course in the class at this time.
Now, I just want to stop right there because I'm not reviewing all of this. I just want you to hear that again. All right, I'm going to back that up. Listen to it again. Imagine you're sitting there. Harold B. Sightler walks up, and here's what it sounded like in 1976. In fact, this first one was August the 2nd, 1976. It's a hot day in Greenville, South Carolina. You're in hermeneutics class. There you are. Harold B. Sightler walks to the front of the class. He's going to introduce the class on hermeneutics. This is what it sounded like. Listen, I don't know what your first thoughts are. My first thoughts were, wait a minute. He's talking about a textbook. I need to find that textbook. I am going to do everything in my power to find that textbook, because if there's a textbook on hermeneutics that was used in 1976, I want to read it and I want to find it. And ladies and gentlemen, at first, I could not find it. I came up with a lot of different ideas, right? And so I was looking, and some of the ones that I thought I had found were not in print. I couldn't find any. But then I finally found the right one, because I had to keep looking. And sermon audio is the reason to finding it. When I first found Biblical Hermeneutics Lesson 1 by Harold B. Sightler, I found it somewhere else on sermon audio, and it had no information, right? It's just like, oh, wait, this is Harold B. Sightler teaching hermeneutics. I had no idea what the context was. So I kept looking on sermon audio, and then I came across the series from Students of the Bible, and in their show notes, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They give us the textbook. But let's hear this again, and I'm going to give you all the information about the textbook as well, so then you can purchase the textbook, sit down with a Bible, notebook, the textbook, and sermon audio, and you can literally take a hermeneutics class from 1976. You can even go find some clothes from 1976. Well, it's an independent fundamental Baptist school. So if you're a guy, it's going to be, a shirt, a tie, some dress slacks and some dress shoes. So you can't really, get into the whole fashion of the 1970s. It's going to be a shirt, tie, dress slacks. Make sure you have a belt. Make sure the shirt is tucked in, and some dress shoes, or you're probably not going to be attending a school at a independent fundamental Baptist school if you're not dressed properly. All right. So you can go do that, and then you can sit there. And if you're a lady, you'll have to have a dress, that goes way down to, well, I don't even know if you'd have been allowed in hermeneutics class in 1976. All right. You get the idea. Just dress like you attend an independent fundamental Baptist church, and then you'll be ready to go. All right. But here we go. Are you ready? It's August 1976. It's hot outside. You're sitting inside, you got your notebook open, you're ready for, maybe this is and this sounds like Hermeneutics 101, sounds like probably a freshman course from what I've listened to so far. So you're there and you're about to attend your first hermeneutics class ever. Here we go.
This is the class on hermeneutics, and if you have your textbook handy, I want you to turn now to the chapter number 1, page number 7, and we're going to introduce the course and say some things about this particular course in the class at this time. At the top of page number 7 in your textbook is a definition for what this course is all about, hermeneutics. I would like for you by all means to commit to memory the definition given at the top of the page. I would like also for each student to learn to spell the title of this course, the word hermeneutics. You'll be using this word in your test papers and in the other classroom work, and I want you to be able to spell it and spell it correctly. You'll find the word used in the very first word in the definition at the top of page number 7, hermeneutics. I think I have the correct pronunciation. Now you make the correct spelling by all means in your own experience, and you'll find the word written at the top of the page. What is hermeneutics? Why do we study this particular course in the Bible College here at Tabernacle? Now that's a very important question, and we want to try to settle that question in your heart and in your mind so that you can understand exactly what this course is all about as we move through it, the Lord willing, in class and then also in the correspondence school. Hermeneutics is the science of Bible interpretation. Now you notice in the textbook it says, and termination. As far as I'm concerned, you can just mark through the word termination and not include that in the definition. The definition that I shall require, and it's bound to come up on many of the tests that you'll have for this coming year on this course, is that hermeneutics is a science, or the science, of interpretation. The interpretation, of course, of the Word of God, the Bible.
Now, first I have to laugh because he says, hey, you got to learn how to spell it correctly, because I don't know how many hermeneutics classes I've taken. I don't even know. I don't even know how many textbooks on hermeneutics I have read. In fact, I got one right here in front of me. I got two right here in front of me. So I don't even know, but I probably would still misspell the word, right? I mean, it's 2025. I just start typing something in and I expect autocorrect to get it correct, right? I expect Google to say, "Did you mean?" That's what I expect. But so he wanted them to spell it correctly, all right? And it's the science of biblical interpretation, all right? Very good. And one of the things you'll notice about these lessons, many of these are not that long. They're not. I think this one is like 22 minutes long, so you can make it through these relatively quick. Now, the textbook he's referring to, it appears that the textbook is entitled Principles of Biblical Hermeneutics by J. Edwin Hartill. J. Edward Hartill, Hartill, Principles of Biblical Hermeneutics by J. And I said Edward. J. Edwin Hartill, I apologize. Principles of Biblical Hermeneutics by J. Edwin, not Edward, J. Edwin Hartill. All right. And here is some information about the book. Using a graphic combination of text, charts, and outlines, Principles of Biblical Hermeneutics introduces you to the science of interpreting the Bible. The aim of this book is to explain and illustrate the various principles of Bible interpretation that must be followed in order to understand the teaching of God's Word correctly. Such a foundation is pivotal for anyone who studies the Bible. Unless consistent principles of interpreting its passages are followed, the truth of God becomes blurred and confused. Determining what the Bible means must precede application of its words to our lives. Now featuring a new up-to-date format, a new cover, Principles of Biblical Hermeneutics sets essential information in easy-to-follow outline form for all readers of the Bible. Now, this again, J. Edwin Hartill, Principles of Biblical Hermeneutics. You can find it at Amazon.com. You can get it for your Kindle or the Kindle app for $7.99. So it's not a big investment. And for many of you, you'll be very happy with this. It's only 128 pages long. So that means this is like Hermeneutics 101, 101. This is Hermeneutics 100 before we even get to 101. If it's only 128 pages long, this has got to be the most basic biblical hermeneutics book I've ever heard of in my life. I mean, I don't think I've ever read a hermeneutics book that's less than 300 pages. So that means this is like the most basic of the basic of the basic. I'm not saying that means it's bad. That just means it's not, obviously this book is not going to go into the history of biblical hermeneutics. It's probably not going to go into all the different systems of biblical hermeneutics. I think it's just going to say, basically, these are the principles, and our principles are the right ones, and it's going to give you some kind of system of biblical hermeneutics. I'm assuming it's going to be dispensational in nature, and again, probably more in line with the historical, grammatical, literal approach. So I'm going to get the book at some point. I'm going to try to order it here soon, and because I definitely want to check it out, and I want to have the book open so that I can pretend it's 1976. I'm at a Bible college in Greenville, South Carolina, and I just want to take the course with them. And that's an amazing thing. Once again, this is all free for you. Other than the book, you got to purchase the book, but the whole course is right there, or at least we know at least 12 messages from it are there available on the Sermon Audio platform, free of charge. Don't waste the resource. Use it, all right? Use it, please, all right? Now, if you don't know anything about Dr. Harold B. Sightler, he founded Tabernacle Baptist Church and Tabernacle Baptist College in Greenville, South Carolina. He's the one who founded both. Now, my understanding is that Tabernacle Baptist College had a correspondence course. I would love to track down that. It's probably somewhere online. I would love to know what all the courses were, what were all the textbooks. I would love to know. He was known for clear doctrinal preaching and for emphasizing both biblical fidelity and simplicity in teaching. Now, this is just a bio of his. I don't know about how, well, we could get into a lot of discussions there, but all right, these classroom sessions captured that spirit. They're not flashy or emotional, as you heard him. I mean, just listen.
Hermeneutics involves the scriptures, the holy book of the scriptures, the word of God. And hermeneutics is the science of the interpretation of the scriptures. The word science literally means knowledge. And so the word science in this definition ought not to give you any difficulty at all. Hermeneutics is the know-how in interpreting the Holy Scriptures, the science of Bible interpretation. Now, this definition is very important. I want every student to learn the definition and be able to write it for me and give it to me in answer to a test question that's bound to come up on the test on what is hermeneutics. And the answer, the science of Bible interpretation.
You can hear it's not flashy, it's not emotional, just pretty straightforward, all right? Pretty straightforward. Hopefully the lessons are structured. I mean, clearly you can see the way he's going through this. He's starting with a definition. They're structured. I think they're clearly focused on biblical hermeneutics. And I think the goal is hopefully to help you understand the Bible properly, according to their system. I am going to stress that. And whenever you get to biblical hermeneutics, you're like, I've learned hermeneutics. Which system of hermeneutics? And how do you know that system is the correct one? All right, we could have that whole discussion. Now, Studying, and I've already hinted at this, but I want to make sure I just drive this point home, because some people see, a series on hermeneutics, whatever. Studying hermeneutics is not just for pastors. It's just not for professors. It is for every single Christian who reads the Bible, because anytime you read it, guess what? You're interpreting the scriptures in some way, shape, or form. Well, what principles are you using to come to your interpretation? So listening to this series offers you a chance to hear how an earlier generation of conservative Bible teachers trained their students to think textually, contextually, and reverently about the text. You get to hear how students in 1976 were being taught how to think about approaching Scripture. Whether you agree or disagree, you at least get to hear their perspective. All right? It also kind of lets us... We kind of get to walk in and hear what theological education sounded like in the 1970s, right? We kind of get to walk in and go, oh, this is what it sounded like in the 1970s. Chalkboards, right? You may even hear the chalkboard. Lecture, there doesn't appear to be any slides, right? Nothing fancy. It's just a man, a Bible, a book, a classroom full of students. And thanks to Sermon Audio, these sessions haven't disappeared into history. They're available to anyone who wants to hear them, listen to them, take advantage of them, all right? And then please don't forget to get the textbook, right? You can follow along. Principles of Biblical Hermeneutics by Edwin, not Edward, Hartill. It's available. It may be even available online for free, but if you want to get the book for your Kindle, or you want to get a physical copy, you can do so at Amazon.com. I think reading the text while listening to the recordings is kind of a great way to really immerse yourself into what it would have been like in 1976. You're literally holding the exact textbook and listening to the exact lecture as it occurred at the exact time, all because of modern technology. That is pretty awesome. All right. And I think I've been struggling here for the Sermon Audio Daily. Like, how many series do I give you, right? Because you can't listen to everything in these series, and I know. So some of the series, like yesterday, from NAR to Christ, those I think you can kind of pick or choose, right? I think you can pick and choose. Now, for this series, I will say, I think this one's designed to listen to all of them. And 22 minutes or 25 minutes for some of these, you can go through them relatively quick. And you have the textbook if you get it. I don't know. I think you can save this series and then just pick a time, okay, I'm going to spend an hour listening to this series. I think this one you really want to listen to all of it, right? The others, I think some of them you can kind of pick or choose, but this one, I think you should listen to all. And I know when I give you a series this long, then it's like, okay, do I wait 3 days, 4 days before I do another episode, another issue of the Sermon Audio Daily? And I'm just going to keep doing the episodes, and whenever you listen to them or whenever you need something to listen to, you can pick one and go from there, right? So I think, I think it'll be worth your time. So that's today's discovery for the Sermon Audio Daily, Biblical Hermeneutics from the 1970s. We have everything preserved. The lectures, the textbook is still available. All it needs is you to take the time to listen and to learn and hopefully to benefit, whether you agree or disagree. You're going to know what biblical hermeneutics sounded like in the 1970s. Right now, the series and a link to the textbook will be in the show notes. So check those out and, get to listening, get to class. Come on, get to class. Go. You're late. You're way late. It started in August of 1976. It's October 2025. I think I know you don't feel tardy. Okay, that's a musical reference. Okay, but you are tardy. You're way tardy. So, get to Greenville, South Carolina. I don't even know if is the school still there? I don't know. That someone drive to Greenville, South Carolina and say, this is where the school was, or it's still here. And then you can knock on the door and say, I need the hermeneutics class. I'm way late. All right, everyone have a great day and a good weekend. God bless.